Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another video. One of my all-time favourite gaming devices and things to collect for is the original Game Boy. It may even be my favourite product from Nintendo, and the games still hold up really well. You would think that for a device with no real backlight and no colour at all, there wouldn't be such a fandom for this thing, but there is, and it's still going strong. Now recently I went to the London gaming market, and admittedly I really didn't buy much. I bought a couple of things for other people. I bought Paperboy on the Master System for myself, but I also stumbled across this. The Unofficial DMG Companion, the Game Book. Obviously for Game Boy, if you couldn't figure it out from all of the front cover. And as you can see at the bottom there on this little tab that's come with it, London Gaming Market is even labelled right there. This is a special edition that you could only get at the London Gaming Market. And if we flip it over, you can see right here on this sticker that I got number 2. Limited edition number 2 of 20. That was unintentional. Now, I did have the option to buy this book on the cheap. I could have got it for a mere £20. Instead, I spent £35. The reason for that is all of the cool stuff that came with it. Plus, I went to the London Gaming Market thinking maybe I could pick up a cool indie game and maybe support an indie artist by buying the physical, of course. Well, I was very disappointed because I didn't see a lot of indie stuff there. Really not much. At least nothing I haven't played or owned already, so yeah. This was the closest thing. But it looks so cool, I thought, you know what, it's not an indie game, but it's still indie, and this looks awesome. I'll show you all of the extras I got at the end of the video. Right now, we'll just focus on the book. Now, with the sleeve taken off, we can get a better look at the artwork on the front of this thing, but let's have a look at the back as well. Look at all the great jobs done on all of the game cartridges there. DuckTales, Mario Picross, Revenge of the Gator. You know, when I had that game as a kid, I had no idea it would have such a following. I mean, it's a very simple game. And it's even signed on the inside. Thank you for your amazing support. I hope that you really enjoy this book. I'm guessing that says hope. His handwriting is far too posh for someone as simple as me. But one thing I really want to highlight from the word go is the artwork in here. Look at this. This is fantastic. That was exactly how it felt in school when you got the link cable going to someone else's Game Boy. Granted, hardly ever did it with Tetris. It was more of a Pokemon Red thing, but it was still really cool. This image baffles me. The Game Boy is on. You can see the image, barely. The battery's dead. How magic. And here we have the creator of the Game Boy, whose name escapes me, but luckily it's written here, Gunpei Yokoi. I would never remember that. I can't remember English names, let alone Japanese ones. And of course, Mr. Yokoi was also the man who made the Virtual Boy. His fall from grace, unfortunately. It even has pictures of the very famous Game Boy that was in a war and got nearly destroyed, but magically survived. Such a cool bit of history that was in a museum for many years. I do believe it's recently been taken out of the museum. I don't know why they did that. It's such a cool bit of history. I think it should only be taken out of a museum when put into another one. Here showing some of the cool accessories you could have. Just about everyone had one of these lights. Many people had the link cables. Not many people had one of these though. This is a fantastic thing to have in the book. How to spot a fake game cartridge. Now, I know of many of the ways. The easiest one is one that's actually listed here with the indented number. Normally around this part of a game cartridge, you can see a literal number that's been printed by pushed into the sticker. It's the easiest way to tell from the go. If it doesn't have the number, it's a fake. If it does have the number, there's a high chance it's not a fake, but you should still go through as many of the ways as possible to double check. Obviously, you don't always have the luxury of being able to open it up if you found it in a shop or market or whatever. That's not always something you can do on the fly. So the number one, that's a good way to tell from the word go if you got something dodgy. And here's something I've always loved. Variations on artwork. You look at Link's Awakening. The Japanese definitely got better art cover than we did. Pokemon Yellow version, well, they're both kind of cool to be honest. 6 golden coins, it's essentially the same. Tetris, you know what? I think we got the better Tetris. For a change, we got the better artwork than the Japanese did, because it's just all red. And here's an odd thing. Its competitor, the Game Gear. And even a bit for the links. Look at this. Variations on the original Game Boy. Here's the one I had growing up. Here's the one everyone wanted. Yeah, for some reason, I knew one guy in school who had the green one. That was the one I wanted like mad. I don't know why, I just thought it looked cool. I have one now, luckily. I don't think I've ever seen a pink one, so my mind's saying that's a third-party thing, unless it was released in places other than the UK. Maybe. Maybe. And of course, here we go on to its direct successor, the Pocket, which was essentially the same thing, but smaller. And with its variations on colours as well. Don't recall ever seeing that. Maybe that was a Japan-only thing. And even the Game Boy Light, something that Japan refused to share with us. Selfish. Look at this art here. Look at that. Back in the day, I didn't know anyone that had a Super Nintendo, but I tell you what, I would have bought one just for the ability to play my Game Boy games on the big screen. If I knew about that back then, I would have been so jealous of Nintendo fans. But again, in my area, no one I knew had one. So, of course, no one had that, therefore I didn't know about it. No internet, and I didn't buy Nintendo magazines, so yeah. But it was so cool how some of the games had their own borders. Like Bomberman here, really cool one. Donkey Kong, very cool one. And of course a bit about the Game Boy camera. And you can't have the camera without the printer to get them really rubbish stickers, which you would need if you ever did Pokemon Red and were incredibly disappointed what you got after catching all the Pokemon. Yeah, that hasn't scarred me at all. Analog's Pocket even mentions that. I'm not surprised because it is a fantastic device, it's just... it's not a fantastic company that have made and sold it. You'll have a very hard time getting one, and if you do get one, you'll need to get out a new mortgage because it's the only way you'll be able to afford the thing. We're hardly anywhere through the book, and already we're getting so much variety on the topics within. Look at this. Top 3 Game Boy tracks. Gym Leader Battle Theme, Pokemon Red. Great tune. Castle Lololo from Kirby's Dream Land. I'm trying to think of that one on the top of my head. It's not popping in. And yet I love that game, but I can't think of the tune right now. Silly me. Super Mario Land 2 Athletic. Any iconic Mario game needs its own iconic theme song, of course. And for me, Super Mario Land 2's tune is unequivocally athletic. Okay. Now this is something I know nothing about. The Work Boy? I'm going to have to read all of this in my own time and learn about this thing that I clearly need. Clearly need this. An introduction to the Game Boy homebrew scene. Fantastic. I love getting homebrews for the Game Boy. Physically, of course. When it comes to ROMs, you can get them anywhere, but I don't care. I love to have the physical, like with Dedus or Dedius. I was never too sure how to pronounce that game, but that was such a cool one. Speaking of Dedus or Dedius, here is its, not exactly a prequel, but it's made by the same company. Dragonborn also have this one. Fantastic little RPG there. But look, got Doc Cosmos. DMG deals damage. What the hell is going on there? Looks like the Game Boy's an actual character. Tobu Girl. I have no idea. I'm going to be checking all of these out. And a Game Boy timeline in case you love your video game history, which I do, and I know it fairly well, having listened to so many audiobooks on the subject. You can't have something about the original Game Boy without having a big slice of it about original Tetris. I think it's a must. Oh, and of course, Mario. So not only do we have all of those bits of variety to read up on, we also have in-depth game reviews. Look at the Metroid. Look at the Metroid art. That is just beautiful. That is fantastic. And I love how every review has its own sort of theme going on, relevant to each game. And of course, Kirby's one is pink. I mean, it would have to be pink. I think it's the law for it to be pink. Except this one. This one, it's not the law to be pink. This one, it's normal. Green. Shut up, me. Oh, Link's Awakening. Very different art style. There's so many different types of art style. Whoever did the art, it's highly unlikely it was the same person each time. Look at this. Look at this. Truly sensational for any original Game Boy fan. Ah, the trading sequence. The #1 thing that I forget the order of every time I play it. So many times I play it, I think, right, I take this to that person, that to this person, and then I've got this. Who the hell has this? And I cannot remember. I love all the little bits of artwork for each one. The dude with the fishing rod. I forget him every time because he's under a damn bridge, I think. Fantastic. And look at Donkey Kong. What? Just talking about artwork being different every time. Look at this. Look at it. It's like a King Kong movie artwork, but they've given him the ruddy tie. And Wario. I have to admit, the first Wario game, not 6 golden coins with his first appearance, but the first game where you play as Wario, that's such an amazing game. And I didn't know anyone else that had it back in the day. I think everyone looked at it and gone, oh, well, it's not Mario. Like, no. I think it's better. Now all I really see of Wario is WarioWare games, which isn't exactly bad, as long as they don't ever try and do something with Waluigi. Oh, Pokemon Red. I'm going to have to zoom through this, or I will just natter on forever. This is making me want to go and get my Game Boy, where I'm still working on getting a Charizard to level 100 before even leaving the Pallet Town area. Look at that bug catcher. That is such a wholesome and awesome piece of artwork. Giovanni, why are you standing right there? Why are you standing there? You don't belong there. We did. Go away. You're ruining it. I'm trying to focus on bug catcher. It's about bug catching now. Look at this. That's beautiful. Of course, there's an animal there, like a little lizard. There's no animals in Pokemon, are there? There's a frog. There's a turtle. Mixing animals with Pokemon? I don't know if it's sacrilege or just demonically weird. And even Aim Boy. Then we get into some slightly smaller and shorter reviews. Alleyway. A great game, but it's a little limited on the trajectory of where the ball can go. Sometimes you just get it stuck, where it's like, da-dung, 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 da-dung. You're like, come on, get out of it. No, it's stuck. It's going to take a little while. Insanely annoying when you're on a special stage and it does that, because you just can't do it. You're not going to win. Infuriating. Avenging Spirit. This is a game I've never played, but I've heard so many good things. I think it's an expensive one, but I think it's also something you can play on the Evercade, so I might be forced to play it that way as opposed to how I'd prefer to play it. Balloon Kid. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Why is that there? Wow, the writer must have been nostalgia blind for that one. I have to say, I like the fact that it's given it one whole image of the game, one for the front cover, and just enough text to give what you truly think of a game. That's enough. We don't need loads. I understand for the other big featured games from before, but it's nice to have this as well. And then we end it all off with contributors, illustrators, more proof that it was different artwork by different people, and all of the people that backed this, all of the people that helped make this happen. This is an awesome, awesome little book. But before we end this, I did promise to show you all of the other stuff that came with the book. Now, the first thing, they're working on one for Game Boy Color. So the Game Book Color. Live on Kickstarter now. Might have to check that out. Also, if you do like me and get the special edition of this, you get a bookmark made out of decent card, actually. It doesn't feel like it's just going to bend and get ruined instantly. A little Game Boy pin. It's not exactly a super special one, but I still love it. And I won't lie, when the guy was trying to convince me to buy the special version, as soon as he said game pin, I was like, oh, you've got me all figured out, haven't you? You knew I was coming. Now let's have a look at the artwork. There are so many of these that I could go on forever about each individual one, and that would make this video far too long. Some of these bits of art are what you see in the book already, like this Wario one, for example. But these are so awesome. When I showed these to my wife when I got back, she said to me, some of these are going to have to be framed. This one, particularly, because of my daughter. She loves Kirby. we're going to end up with a hallway filled with Game Boy framed artwork. And a Game Gear one. And a Lynx one, I guess. But they're so cool, it has to be done. And look at this one. Look at that. That is great. As if it was an iPod. A Game Boy iPod. If that isn't a thing, it needs to be a thing. There's the Metroid one. Bit more of Donkey Kong. The man himself. Pokemon. 6 golden coins. I mean, I could just go on, and the bug catcher one. The bug catcher one is having a pride of place. That one is fantastic. But what did you think of this book? Honestly, I love everything about it, in case you couldn't figure that out. It's just the cover, the contents. I know I didn't get to read a lot of the writing within, but I can only make these videos so long. It's just so much in this. It was the writer himself who was selling it to me, but even then he wasn't the main writer. He didn't write everything. Funnily enough, when I went to the pub afterwards with my friend Geeky Nate, check out his channel in the description below, I met one of his other friends, Nick. Nick Westwood, I believe was his name. In fact, I'm going to double check that quickly. Hold on. Yep, Nick Westwood. Unfortunately, Nick didn't tell me what it was he wrote in here, and if he did, I forgot. So I'm very sorry, mate. But congratulations, since I loved everything in here, it's fair to say that I love the bit you did as well. So that's all good. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you're interested in getting this or just checking it out and finding out more about it, all of that kind of information is in the video's description. Just click below and you'll find everything you want to know. This is a great book. Fantastic addition to my little collection. I've got to try and keep it away from the kids. The kids are becoming fans of Game Boy, which is a good thing, but it's also stay away from my stuff. It's mine. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.